Hello, I'm Steve Sugg, sales recruiting expert and author of the book, Can They Sell? Welcome to my sales recruitment video blog, 5 minutes of learning to hire the best salespeople. I was hired recently to help a client understand why a likable salesperson was not performing at expected levels. My client, Rob, described his salesperson, John, as engaging and caring and knowledgeable of the sales process. He was hardworking and clients loved him, and other salespeople even took him on appointments when they needed a product expert. So I asked Rob, what are his challenges? And he said, I just can't figure out why he doesn't have enough sales presentations. Also, he only has a closing ratio of 20% in an industry where the average is 35%. I've been on sales calls with him, and prospects love him because of his product knowledge, but he struggles with getting them to make a decision. I first asked Rob about John's work ethic, and he said there's no problem there. He's the first to get to the office and the last to leave. He's always busy, and he's one of the hardest working people I know. So I'm really confused about why his production is so low. So based on this information from Rob, we had John take a personality assessment, and here's what I discovered. John has low scores on the goal orientation and need for control skills. He also scored moderate in the areas of social confidence and good impression skills. He had a high score on the need to nurture scale and a low score on the social drive scale. So what does all of this mean? Well, people successful in sales have mastered 3 dimensions of selling. 1 is product knowledge, 2, sales skills, and 3, sales productivity. The first dimension is obvious. To be a top salesperson, we must become a product expert. This was not a problem for John. He was recognized as a product expert by both his customers and his associates, and he spent a lot of time reading and studying. The second dimension, mastering of sales skills, involves learning and being able to execute a face-to-face process that involves prospecting, setting appointments, diagnosing needs, making presentations, handling objections, and then getting the sale and then getting referrals. And a salesperson can have complete knowledge about these steps in the sales process and why it's important to follow them, but struggle with executing the sales process because of a low resiliency to rejection and a low desire to be social for the purpose of doing business. These were John's 2 challenges. He was smart, so he had a strong knowledge of what an effective face-to-face sales process was, but he struggled with the execution. His low social drive caused him to struggle with finding enough leads to call by getting out into the marketplace and socializing for business purposes. His moderate social confidence and good impression scores caused him to struggle with rejection. This caused him to hesitate to ask for and get appointments, ask those tough diagnostic questions, and then handle the objections after his very thorough presentation. John thought that if he gave enough product information, people would simply ask him if they could buy without him asking for the order. He also hesitated to ask the tough fact-finding questions, which resulted in a focus on the product's features and not enough on how the benefits would solve the prospect's particular problems. Now to the third dimension of sales, sales productivity. This dimension is impacted by 2 things. 1 is resiliency to rejection, and 2, the pace of work. In John's situation, his struggle in handling rejection caused him to subconsciously avoid situations that caused the pain. He simply didn't get out of the office and find enough prospects. Instead, you could find John in the office studying the latest product changes. During the sales process, when gathering information and handling objections, John would regress to giving product details rather than confidently handling the objections and getting people to take action. His low scores on the goal orientation and need for control skills caused him to move at a more methodical pace rather than the high activity pace which was needed in his industry. This slower pace of work caused him to struggle with ending conversations in a timely manner, and an hour and a half seemed like 20 minutes to John. He simply didn't have an alarm clock in his head that signaled him when it was time to stop presenting and move on. His sales productivity suffered because of this time management struggle. Remember, successful salespeople not only have product and sales process knowledge, they are hardwired to confidently execute every step of the sales process. Also, they're hardwired to move ahead to the next step in the process in a timely manner. This get-on-with-it disposition helps them manage their time well and have enough of the right kinds of activities. Whether you're recruiting salespeople or coaching salespeople, keep these 3 dimensions of the sales process in mind. Thank you for joining me. See you next time on the Can They Sell video blog for more sales job recruitment training. As always, please leave your comments below and forward this video to anyone who will benefit. Now go, enjoy recruiting the best, and have fun in the sales interview.